Welcome, beautiful people. Welcome to yet another video. I know you guys are definitely not feeling good, but other than that, personally, I hope you're doing well in terms of your actual lives. But I know in terms of Chelsea, you guys are definitely very disappointed in what's going on in our team. We are just at a crisis. Now, in terms of what's going on in Chelsea, there's so much news that has been dropping left, right, and center. I think most of it is PR, and we'll be tackling it in this video. But in terms of what's going on in Chelsea now, some good news. Now we have a player that has come back after a long time of injury. So I'll be diving into that. We have the Lionesses who are participating in the Arnold Clark Cup. And we have a Chelsea player who did really well, so I'll be diving into that into a little bit. A bit of a light note in terms of the Champions League towards the end of the video, so make sure you stick to the end. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe and turn on the post notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload a video. Like the video too, share it to the family and friends, and a person who just hates Chelsea for the banter. It will help me a lot, and for the sake of it, if you're new here again, please subscribe. So let's jump right into it. Now, of course, we as Chelsea are struggling. This is not news. We, in terms of Chelsea, in terms of Graham Potter, and in terms of the club, in terms of the team, there's just something missing in terms of what's going on in Chelsea. So I'll be diving into Graham Potter. There have been some personalities that have been brought up in terms of what has been going on in the background, some hearsay, so I'll be diving into it without wasting any more time. Let's do it, guys. So in terms of the first news, according to S. Johnson Sport, as reported by Liam Tommy, Graham Potter is not personally disliked by any of his players. There are, however, some doubts over whether longer term he is capable of tactically competing with the likes of Pep and the likes of Pep Guardiola and Klopp, as Tuchel did. Now it goes on to say that one source close to the senior player had this to say: "From what I hear or gather, I don't get the impression Potter is saying that much to the players, and he doesn't strike me as a personable character." That says a lot. There's a genuine concern among some that many of the English contingent will be sold in the summer to balance the books. Now, just to dive into that a little bit, guys, I know in terms of Graham Potter, there's that passion that's missing. And in terms of Graham Potter, you can't compare any individual to another, but you know, it's inevitable to compare them because he is coming to Chelsea. Chelsea's an elite club. He just came from Brighton, but from the looks of it, he just doesn't look as charismatic as the other coaches that were there before. Now, as I was doing my research, I happened to see a video from Jose Mourinho. Now, he had an interview with Goal, and he had some very important things to say. Now, this will just summarize how I feel. Now, in terms of Mourinho, I'm not saying he was the best of the best, but here is what he had to say. Sometimes I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but that's my way. When I go to a club, it's like a sense of duty. I feel that it's my duty to give the people what they want, what the people are waiting for, and the only way to do it is not just by being a good professional, it's by being one of them. So what I did with Chelsea and was exactly what I did in Porto. Before you go there, you are one of them, and I think that's exactly the word for it. It's a sense of duty. You have a duty to these people, the fans, that is, not just to the club itself or the owner or to the players, to the people. And I try to give everything. Then when you leave, of course, it's never an easy moment, but you know the next day the sun will rise again, unless you're in London. Then you have to wait a couple of weeks. Now, I mean, of course, in the interview, he was just, you know, he's a very experienced coach. He has his faults, he has his good days, but this would not have been articulated in a better way. In terms of Graham Potter, I feel like, you know, reports have been coming about that after the preseason game, the Arsenal game, this was where the fallout between Thomas Tuchel and the owners happened, and it seems like Graham Potter in the last game was involved with the board in terms of choosing the squad that would participate in terms of the performance against Southampton, and this speaks a lot. Now, why would you employ a manager and still be interfering in his work? Okay, I understand you own the club, you want to know how the club is doing, but you've given him a job. You've given him the job. You should trust him with the players. even though it's not the players that he wanted, it's not the players that he signed, because the players that were signed, the likes of Aubameyang, who came from Dortmund, they had a relationship from the past with Thomas Tuchel. So coming to Chelsea, you'd see that, of course, the players were excited to play for him. In terms of the players that have already been under Thomas Tuchel, the likes of Reece James, Mason Mount, some young stars who were coming out, they were doing so well. But in terms of Graham Potter now, if the Chelsea board is interfering in the selection of the squad, how is the manager supposed to do his job? Guys, this is utterly confusing, and I honestly don't know where this is going. Maybe this is how this is how Todd Boehly does business in terms of the LA Dodgers in America, but this is different. And of course, we have been seeing reports circulating about how we are trying to copy the model of Man City. We're trying to copy the model of Liverpool. We're trying to copy the model of Arteta. We're trying to copy Arsenal, that is. But in terms of that, this is what a report had to say about it. And for me, I think this speaks a lot. Now, according to Isaac Kinsella on the London podcast, this is what he had to say. This is what he had to say. It took Liverpool and Arsenal a while when they were rebuilding. It took Arteta a long time. He finished 8th, 5th, and now currently, of course, they're first. But in terms of club, he first finished 8th, 4th, 2nd, and then they won the league. So I think that Chelsea are on a bit of a long road now. That's what the expectation should be. Can we start progressing, start seeing something that resembles a team from now on? And this is what the fans are complaining about. As much the reports are saying there is no friction among the players. There's no friction among the players and the coach. But we want to see this shown on the field. We want to see the players actually playing for the coach. But it seems that maybe it will take a time, maybe familiarity over time, it will form a bond. But we're not seeing this right now, and we need things to change. Next match we face Spurs, and there is a lot of fear. There is a lot of uncertainty amongst the fans. I'm not even certain how that game will go. I'm not even confident we even might get a draw or even a win, to even say the least. So in terms of what is going on in Chelsea, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of chaos. But just back to what Mourinho said, I wish the management, I wish the coach listened to the fans. Okay, the fans are not always correct, because we get very emotional sometimes if we lose or if we have a draw. We might not be in the right senses to make the right decisions. But after a series of games, 14 games, we have not scored how many goals? We are the laughing stock of almost every news sports blog out there. We are the laughing stock of almost every team out there, and this is bad. It's shattering. It's absolutely just demoralizing as a Chelsea fan. But you know what they say, you cannot give up. In terms of what Mourinho said, you have to be one of the fans. You have to put yourself in our shoes. In terms, as much as you're being professional, the passion has to be there. The charisma has to be there. You have to show us that you actually want to be part of us. If we're losing, shout at the players during halftime. Do what you have to do in terms of telling the players, you know what, you guys, we have to switch it up tactically. We have to do something different. But it seems like something's missing. So I like how Mourinho put it, and this is just him as an individual. And the Graham Potter will never be Mourinho, but it's just bad. It's bad. I feel like throwing a tantrum out here, but I won't. In terms of Chelsea, we not only need a miracle, we need a miracle. We need the more team spirit, And this is where some personalities came up. One of the reports that stood out for me was the loss of Rudiger's strong personality has been felt in some quarters, and it is thought he will not let standards deteriorate as badly as they have. Not everyone in the Chelsea squad are convinced that the new signings are all up to the Chelsea standard. Yes. Has the Chelsea standard gone down? Absolutely. Are we getting what we want as fans? Absolutely not. Is the management listening to the fans? Absolutely not. Is Graham Potter listening to the fans? Absolutely not. He believes in his philosophy, he has faith in what he's doing, but our faith is dwindling by the day. By the second, it's just going down, 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 down. As my last video would put it, the diabolical form of Chelsea continues by the second. Please make sure you watch that video if you haven't, and subscribe if you're here while you're at it. But in terms of what is going on, the likes of the as I go back to the news, in terms of the likes of Rudiger, I mean, the shit house that Rudiger had on the pitch, I lived for it, I loved it, but I miss it so much. And you cannot cry over spilled water or spilled milk, but at the same time, something needs to be done. We need to see that team spirit. We need to see that we are progressing. As much as we are trying to rebuild the team, we're trying to rebuild the squad in terms of long term. Yes, we are copying the models of the Arteta, the likes of Pep, the likes of Klopp, but tactically that this is not showing on the pitch, and we need to do something about it. So in terms of what is going on in Chelsea, Lord Lord have mercy, because we are struggling. We are very, very much struggling. But in terms of other personalities that were mentioned in terms of the news that I was going through, according to the Athletic, Jorginho's deadline departure caused some dressing room consternation, meaning a feeling of strong annoyance and anger, usually because of something bad that you cannot change or that is completely unexpected. So it's safe to say that Jorginho leaving our squad was a bit of a shocker to some of the players, and I guess some of the players are taking a while to adapt, but at the same time, we need to adapt. Nobody is waiting for us. No team is going to have mercy on us. They don't care whether we're rebuilding or not. We just need to do it, and we need to do it well. How are you guys feeling about the match coming up on Sunday? My hopes are literally not going to be up, because I will not let Chelsea give me more heartbreak than it already has. It's so bad as it is already, but we're trying to cheer ourselves up. We're trying to give ourselves hope, but we're not seeing Graham Potter tactically doing what all these other managers that I've mentioned have been doing with their players. We're not seeing the charisma. We're not seeing him. He doesn't feel like he's one of us. Plain, right out and simple. He doesn't feel like he's one of us. He doesn't even feel like he wants to connect with us as the fans, and this is a bit worrying, to be honest. You know, as a manager, I feel like it's important for you to, you know, if you don't feel like one of us, you know, if you're just there to sit down and collect a check, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, you have your pool cash, then this might not work long term. So in terms of Graham Potter, I know individually you're not individually as a person, you're not one to go about shouting, you know, if there's a fight, you stay on the other side. If there's a fight, hop on in, you know, he's a calm guy, and maybe this is why the management chose him, but it feels more or less as though he's a puppet. Forgive me for saying this, but it feels as though he's a puppet, and he's just a yes man. Can I say that, guys? Or how do you feel, guys? Because if he is not able to make his decisions as a manager and say, you know what, I appreciate your input as my own, I appreciate your input as my boss, as the owner of this club, but this is what I feel we should do. We're dropping the likes of Aubameyang. Fofana apparently has better statistics in terms of Aubameyang, but I think age will be a very big factor here. We need to see more players coming back in, and in terms of players coming back in, of course, earlier this week we saw N'Golo Kante coming back into training. This is some good news. You know, N'Golo Kante is just a powerhouse as within himself. As calm as he is, he does the work. He puts in the work. He works so hard on the team. But according to Mark Lowe, now this is what he had to say: we as Chelsea fans just want a bit of good news. Can we have a bit of hope? I don't want to overhype it, but I'm told N'Golo Kante looks in great shape, and there's a lot of excitement around the fitness he's going to come back with. They have taken it super slowly and have been very careful with his return. So it will be very nice to see N'Golo Kante back. Now, according to the last Southampton game, Graham Potter mentioned that he was advised not to start some players due to fear that an injury might reoccur, the likes of Reece James, hence why they were not started. But the likes of N'Golo Kante, you know, I feel like they will not rush him. That's why he said, I don't want to make you all too excited. So I totally get where he comes from. But a girl can only dream, and I hope N'Golo Kante, once he comes back to the pitch, he's able to reinforce the team. You know, he's able to work hard, but you know, he's getting old, and the young players can only do so much. And if you're getting rid of all the old players, how will the young players get to experience from the older players? Big question, you know. Now, other than the fact that we lost to Southampton on Saturday and the team had an off day, not of one day but 2 days, that was Monday and Tuesday, they had another day off today. Now this is what the report says. There will be no full first team training session at Cobham today. Graham Potter is mindful of the recent injury crisis and wary of overloading the players who are still working their way back to peak condition. Okay, I understand injuries are very concerning and we will not want to lose players due to the fact that we just want to train them. But at the same time, while we're having so many days off, we only have 2 competitions left in Chelsea Men's Club. This whole week, we are supposed to be preparing for Spurs on Sunday. Now, Spurs are coming from a defeat in the Champions League. I'll be getting into that a bit. At least I can comfort myself this. Now, if we have only 2 competitions remaining and we're having all these days off, this is a bit boring for me. I mean, it looks like we're just too reluctant. I hope he knows what he's doing. Honestly, it feels like he doesn't, but I hope he knows what he's doing. As I finish off on a lighter note now, according to the Champions League round of 16, no English team was able to collect a win. And as Chelsea, you know, we're not out of breath right now, so this news is a bit comforting to me. The best match for me was the Liverpool against Real Madrid game when, you know, they went 2-0 up, only for Madrid to come and beat them with a 5-2 win. And Hala Madrid, no. But at the same time, in terms of the English clubs, Chelsea were beaten 1-0 by Dortmund. In terms of Man City, they were the only team to maintain a draw with RB Leipzig. And finally, Tottenham were beaten with a 1-0 loss to AC Milan. Now, in terms of the Lionesses, I have to mention this. Lauren James was mentioned as Tournament Player of the Year in the Annual Clear Cup, and congratulations to Lauren James. I mean, if we could take some notes from the women's team, it would do wonders for us. But at the same time, we have a long way to go, and as Zaki Sela put it, we have a very long journey ahead of us as Chelsea fans. Tell me how you guys are feeling about the match coming up on Sunday. Are you feeling hopeful? Are you feeling good? Some reports have mentioned that if Graham Potter is able to win this game, he will be able to at least create a rapport with the fans. I don't think so, but so this is just one game because we are the laughing stock. How many goals have we scored since the year started? I will not be going there. I've seen too many tweets about it. I've seen too many information about it. But as Chelsea Club, you know, we still stand together, champions of Europe. We were, we still are, and we have a long way to go. At the same time, if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it with your family and friends. Turn on the post notification bell, you'll be notified every time I upload a video. And as Chelsea, you know, we'll stay loyal to our team. No matter what, no matter the banter, we will still rise up from the ashes like a phoenix. Anyway guys, don't worry, don't mind my quotes. I will be seeing you in my next video. Adios.